talking about beauty, nature, art, and aesthetics. So that's what I'm doing today. And it's a little loosely woven there, so just be with me. I want to share a prayer that, it's not exactly a prayer, just a writing by a woman, Carrie Robbins, I think is her last name, and she's with a church in British Columbia. So this is what she wrote as a meditative thought. I was driving home from our center Sunday and decided to take a back road, the scenic route, where traffic is light and the bucolic setting is breathtaking. I passed pastures where cows were contentedly grazing. I saw orchard with trees laden with apples already ripening. The cherry trees were swaying in the breeze, their fruit now finished for the year. There were roadside stands where I could stop and buy produce, fresh from the garden. Fresh, free-range eggs, flowers, all on the honor system. Just drop your money in a tin and take what you wish. A different time, one that has seemed so far away. But here I am on a quiet, winding road where good people trust others to be good people. I was brimful with happiness and so grateful for the place I live. I have placed this memory at the forefront of my memory bank, and I'm smiling broadly as I write this. I felt so close to God as I drove along, appreciating all creation around me. It's such a reminder that God is everywhere and that good is everywhere when I choose to find it. I commit to consciously seeing this good wherever I go. During times when life might look different, I choose to bring that memory forward and bask in the glow of this day. It is the lamp that I light in the moment of darkness. It is the love of God shining forth always and always. Goodness does always triumph. And the more I see good in everything, the more good there is. That's the way it works. My cup runneth over, and I am so grateful. And so it is. Goodness always does triumph. And the more I see in everything, the more good there is. That's the way it works. So it seems to me that our community is the revelation of that prayer. We have eggs that we can pick up on the honor system and pay for the way that it works. So we are a community that cares about each other and steps forward to be supportive and loving. So to me, you are the answer to that prayer. You're what it's all about. When we need snacks, they're there. When we need setup, it's done. I don't have to browbeat anybody. I don't have to beg anybody. It's just done. And I love that about this community. I have a friend who is the minister at the Centers for Spiritual Living in Baton Rouge. And she wrote on the ministerial listserv that all of the disquiet and the discomfort and the anger that had grown up in Baton Rouge, all of the terrible angst and difficult times have actually been healed because of the floods. So that what was a place and a time of separation has now become a place of integration. And people are helping other people. And all of the old violence has been tended to. And that's what is so remarkable about our communities, I think, that when the time calls for it, we step up. We step into a place of love and a place of heartfelt gratitude and goodness. And so I'm talking about nature and beauty and art and aesthetics. And I remember when I was a child, and this might not be just my story, but I remember when it came time to go in the house, you know, at the end of the evening. It was always just around sunset before I would be called in. And watching the sunset was such a moving experience, even as a child, 8 or 9. And to me, that was a time when I, on a very visceral level, and I don't think I'm alone, on a very visceral level, I was connected with spirit, even when I didn't acknowledge or recognize that that's what it was. But my heart would be open, broken open with beauty. And don't you think that when we are moving toward beauty, when we are moving toward aesthetics, when we feel the urge to create or to acknowledge creativity, that it really is a place and a time when we are connected to the divine. Beauty, the aesthetics, is the opening space for us to be connected with spirit. I don't think I'm unique. I do really believe that all of us come into this world with that natural call for connection with whatever name we give it, God, the sunset. I was about 12 or 13 when I had what I now recognize as an enlightened experience. I was sitting on top of a mountain. I was all alone. And looking out on the vista gave me such a perspective of how we are so minuscule and yet we are so connected. The top of a mountain calls us to that connection with nature. Looking at beautiful flowers. And I was reminded of the dahlias that Cindy brought that one day. Do you remember how huge and gorgeous they were? That was God. That was so powerfully an expression of the divine. The fact that her neighbors gave them to her, and the fact that she brought them to share, and they were so beautiful. It's such a gift that she shared with all of us. Yesterday, I took my little sister, a big brother's little sister, to see the movie Finding Dory. And I don't know whether you're familiar with that, but it was a little fish that had a brain injury and lost her short-term memory. So she was lost in the ocean. And the whole theme of the show was the undercurrent song, which was just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So on Facebook, I love the way this happens. There was a story about a little baby that was prematurely born. Francis Wilson was his name. And he was born 4 months early. He weighed 1 pound, 9 ounces. And the doctors gave him 15% chance of survival. It was just devastating to the young parents. And their names were Jeffrey and Maureen. And they had a choice to make, either do nothing or do everything possible. So they chose everything possible. And the nurses had put up, I don't know whether you've been in the hospital recently, but they use whiteboards now to keep track of medication and that sort of thing. The nurses have put up a whiteboard, and one had brought a bunch of colored pencils and said to the parents, you know, you could make it something really cheerful and beautiful or happy, so, and you can include that in the whiteboard. So here are these pens to do that with. And Maureen's sister, Frances Wilson's auntie, drew a picture of what was the one before Finding Dory? It was
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, yeah. So the auntie drew a picture of Nemo. And that made everyone who came into the room really happy. It was just a joyful, sweet picture. So in a short period of time, Maureen's brother sent a TED Talk, and the TED Talk was of Andrew Stanton. And Andrew Stanton was the creator of Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. And in his TED Talk, he talked about how he had been premature, and the doctors had not expected him to live. And this TED Talk gave Maureen and Jeffrey so much courage and so much encouragement. And they thought that if Stanton could have been so successful in life, having been such a preemie, and the doctors had told Stanton's mom just to not expect anything from him, that he would not live, and if he did live, he'd probably be mentally disabled, and offered her, the mom of Stanton, very little hope. So Maureen and Jeffrey were absolutely enlivened by that. And then in a very short period of time, the same brother called and told Maureen that he had been on an airplane, and it happened, I love these accidents, it happened that the brother had sat next to Andrew Stanton. I got here with no tissue, but I'm just gonna plow through. So Maureen's brother told him about Frances Wilson and how meaningful his TED Talk had been to the whole family. So when they got off the airplane, Stanton handed him a little drawing, and it was a drawing of Dory, and it said, Frances Wilson, just keep swimming. And so that enlivened them. Well, thanks, Denise. We should probably just leave this up here, I don't know what. So that enlivened them, and the conclusion of the video was that they were taking Frances Wilson home, and the next scene showed him in the pool swimming. So here's the thing, I think, as far as beauty and nature and art and aesthetics go. All of us are confronted with difficulties and challenges, and we can absolutely take a tip from Dory, Nemo, and we can just keep swimming. We can do the next right thing that is in front of us to do, and the next right thing that is in front of us to do. As we trust the universe or God or whatever language you want to use for that essence, as we trust that essence to show us the next step, to call us forward into that sense of beauty and nature and the divine. We all know the next right step when we take the time to listen for the directions, when we take the time to allow our hearts to be open to guidance and direction. And that guidance and direction is everywhere present, and it's filled with beauty. It's filled with the aesthetics, because that is the truth of our being. We are one with the one. And when we allow our hearts to be broken open with that awareness of our connection with the divine, then we know exactly what the next step needs to be. We know exactly how it is to just keep swimming, how it is to be connected with all that is. We know exactly how to be kind, to be loving, to be supportive, to be caring. We know exactly how to trust our fellow human beings to be good. We know exactly how to trust. All we need to do is, like Dory, just keep swimming. And in the movie, she asks herself over and over again, what would Dory do? What would Dory do? And what Dory would do is just keep swimming. It's that easy, and it's that complex to trust yourself, to know the next right step, to trust yourself, to just keep swimming, to trust your fellow human beings to do the right thing. Perhaps maybe each one of us are still in the incubator. We're still figuring it out. We're still growing and expanding. Maybe each one of us is like that little baby that came to this world incomplete. And you know that you are totally complete, totally whole, just like this child was. But we need to bake a little bit longer. We need to allow ourselves to mature a little bit longer. We need to just keep swimming a little bit longer. So I, once more, just want to thank you for the community that you are. Thank you for being the community that we can trust, that we can absolutely know that we're on our honor and the eggs will get paid for. The jobs will get done. The love will be circulated. I love each one of you. Namaste. So I'm going to invite Kate to join me and invite invite each one of you to join me as we hold the consciousness for this community. I turn within to that place where I acknowledge that I am connected with all that is. I turn to that place that gives me courage and that gives me encouragement. I turn to that place where I know that I am connected with the beauty of the universe, the power of the universe, that I am a deep expression of the nature of the universe. I call forth within myself the awareness that all is well. And that life is expressing and unfolding in perfection, in directions and in ways that I would never think possible. I celebrate the potential of the unknown. I celebrate the glory and the goodness of that I call God. I stand in trust, knowing I know the next right step, knowing that God is expanding through me as me, that God expands and through each one of us in total perfection. My heart is broken wide open with the awareness of the divine, shining through and as each one of us. It is all absolutely perfect. And I call forth in a way that is appropriate, in a way that is absolutely perfect. I call forth the healing of those that need to be healed, the joy of the acknowledgement of the divine, the trust and faith to just keep moving forward, to just keep swimming. And I give thanks for it all. And I say thank you, Mother, Father, God, the divine essence,